So we are working on our first video, which is going to be your physical assessment. And we are kind of pulling out all the stops because this has been quite an interesting evening. So first I want to talk about your BIA. Your BIA is actually going to be your bioelectrical impedance analysis. It analyzes your body composition, which is a measure of your fat in relation to your lean body mass. It uses electrodes that are similar to the EKG electrodes. It's really simple, really quick. You don't really feel anything. Well, you don't. And it uses your fat tissue, which the flow of electrical current will go through, or impede rather, so you're able to get your body composition that way. We want yours to be between 10 and 20% as opposed to a woman's, which we look at about 15 to 25. This is going to help us indicate just kind of where you are, not only in your body composition. The scale that I have is going to also get your weight, and then it's also going to get your body mass index as well. So I'm going to have you hop on the scale. I already put in your age and your height, so we'll get that together. All right. And then it'll go through a couple measurements. And then I'll have you read off to me what you end up getting. All right, hop on up. 171.2.
27.0. 53.2. 26.8 BMI.
And what did you say the BI, what the second number was? 22.0?
Yes.
Okay. All right, awesome. 22.0. We really wanted that to be no higher than 20%. So it just lets us know that there's a little more body fat that the BIA can calculate than what we're really wanting. We need to keep that into consideration as we go through all of this. Well, the second thing we're going to do is your hip to waist ratio. And that's really simple. We're actually going to go around the top part of your waist right by your belly button, and then we're going to measure the widest part of your hips. And that's going to give us a good indication of where your abdominal fat is waist-wise. And that's also going to kind of indicate how high of a risk you are for developing certain diseases like heart disease and blood sugar problems and diabetes. So if you don't mind, I'll grab this tape measure and we'll stand up here for me. Right. Looking at 38.5. And then get your hip, just looking, sorry, pretty good at 36.5. We want this to be as low as we can get it, which would be great if it was under 0.84. We really want it below 0.84. Let's see what our calculator has. 38.5 divided by 36.5 gives us a 1.05%. We really need to get that down because that puts you in the very high category for being at risk lifestyle-wise, especially on that scale. The next thing we're going to talk about is your blood pressure. And this actually will give us the same type of thing, an indication of where your risk is for heart disease, especially because it's going to measure the pressure in your heart when it's contracting and also when it's resting. Your systolic pressure comes first, which is going to be your higher number, which is when your heart's compressed, and then your diastolic is when your heart's resting. We're going to get your cuff on and we'll get that figured out. we really want to be looking for under 120 for your stolic and under 80 for your diastolic. So we'll get that started. On your arm here. All right. All right. All right, we are looking at 118 over 84. So your solid's pretty good. So kind of right at that top range. And then your diastolic is just a tad bit high. And that could be an indicator of pre-hypertension. We want to kind of keep an eye on that. But we do also need to keep in mind that blood pressure is relative to each person. So it may not... yours may be that way all the time. We also need to keep in mind that hypertension isn't a disease in itself, but it's a symptom. And that's something that we need to look into. And what is the underlying cause of it? Are we having issues with our heart? Are we having issues with the diabetes? Because the other indicators that we've seen so far do say that you are at a higher risk for those diseases developing. What else do we need to look at? Oh, we need to assess your BMR, and that is going to, where did I put my paper? There we go. That is your basal metabolic rate, and it is going to figure out what your minimum calorie intake needs to be for survival, basic needs. And now that we have your weight, we can do the calculations. Excuse me, I apologize. And we said initially that it was 171.2. So we are going to have to do some conversions here from pounds to kilograms. All right. I'm just going to put this at... and get some numbers plugged in for you. 0.6 plus 5. Your calorie, your BMR, your minimum calorie is going to be 1,682. That's the expenditure that you have. We also do need to keep in mind, as you mentioned in your paperwork that you gave me, which I appreciate, that you are a bartender and you're very active, you golf, you're outside quite a bit. And so your calorie, your needs for your calories may actually be a little bit increased from what this says. And that's something that we're going to use when we assess your diet and decide, and obviously you'll be involved in this on what you want to do change-wise. I know you also indicated you had some issues with your gums and your teeth. Other things that we look at include your skin and your eyes, and that can indicate some nutritional deficiencies. So we need to keep an eye on that as well. But as of right now, I think we're pretty set and good with everything. So I really appreciate it, and thank you so much, and I look forward to working with you again.